So here to help us unpack the events of yesterday and really look ahead to what comes next is Northwestern Political Science Chair, Professor William Reno. Thank you so much for being with us, Professor.
You bet.
So in your view, did President Trump's threats to eliminate all of Iranian civilization help or hurt the efforts to get to this point, to reach that ceasefire?
Well, I mean, Trump's going to claim that it helped a lot. It's his usual negotiation strategy, bombastic threats, and he'll tell people, and I think for some, his supporters, it'll be convincing narrative that that's what brought the Iranians to the table.
Well, you know, kind of to elaborate on that, Professor, and as you called it, his bombastic threats, he seems to be doing that quite a bit lately, making the big threats, setting a big deadline, you know, as a diplomatic strategy. Is that viable moving forward? And because it seems to have worked in this case, what are your thoughts on that? And does anything about that concern you?
If I try to put myself in Donald Trump's head, he'll say that this has worked. It worked in Venezuela. It's worked with tariffs, and he'll say that it's worked with Iran. I think that the flaw of the overall strategy is it's a very short-term perspective, because if you step back and you look at the basis of U.S. power, it's about U.S. credibility and U.S.'s service of its own national interests that also help other countries. And Trump's negotiating strategy is very much a U.S. first. So I think that in broad strategic terms, it's probably signals the erosion of U.S. power.
Well, on that note, or related, we know that this deal is contingent on the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Do you think this validates Iran's strategy when it comes to this war?
Well, if I try to put myself in Iranian heads, they would say that while militarily they're damaged, economically they're damaged, strategically they come out ahead, because now they have the U.S. at a negotiating table focused on reopening the straits, which were closed as a consequence of the military action. There's not a lot of discussion about the nuclear issue, which was supposedly the reason that, or at least one of the reasons that the U.S. went in there in the first place. So Iran's regime, it turned out to be a lot more tenacious. It survived. So I think that in strategic terms, the Iranians will claim that they're the winners.
All right. One last quick question. You hear a lot of Democratic lawmakers right now calling for the invocation of the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office. Do you think that has any chance of moving forward, considering that Republicans control Congress, and should it?
Republicans control Congress, so I don't think it's going to move forward, and it would need a significant measure of Republican support. It's a statement of political purpose and political intent. So I think that it's probably effective for Democratic supporters, at least in that sense. It's a slippery slope, though. I'm not sure it's a good idea to claim that politicians you don't like are somehow crazy or whatever. The better strategy might be to vote them out of office or elect different leaders.
Thank you so much, Professor Reno, for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
All right, you bet.